Major Red Sox trade report by the top dog in the industry, Jeff Passan. He indicates that two Red Sox may be on the trade block, two names that you may not be suspecting, and that could make any team better at the trade deadline if the Red Sox decide to go in that direction. So we'll break that down on this episode of 3 Up, 3 Down, as well as tensions boiling over between the Cleveland Guardians and Toronto Blue Jays yesterday afternoon. It was a spicy affair between those two teams. Both managers got into it at some point, so we'll break down all the action and the trade reports coming up next on this episode of 3 Up, 3 Down. Welcome in, everybody, to 3 Up, 3 Down. I'm your host, Peter Vryonis. Before we get into the trade report and things getting crazy in Cleveland yesterday between the Guardians and the Blue Jays, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We're very close to 3,000 subs, and your support has been unbelievable, especially on the last video where I broke down the Sandy Alcantara news that he may be remaining as a Miami Marlin past the trade deadline. But yeah, make sure to hit that sub button. We're close to 3K. Let's get into the news here. And Jeff Passan mentions a couple of Boston Red Sox as potential trade pieces. And those two trade pieces are a couple of surprising names that not many people have been hinting at that could be traded at this deadline. And that is Alex Bregman and Jarren Duran, two pieces that are having Bregman himself is having a really nice season, especially in the power department. I mean, he is kind of regaining some of that momentum that made him one of the best players in baseball with Houston. Jarren Duran, bit of an off year by his standards, but the control, the contract, he could definitely help any ball club that he gets traded to at the deadline, so we'll have that coming up. But the first name that I want to touch on here quickly is Alex Bregman, who has a very hefty contract, and he could opt into another 2 years after this one as well. So that is kind of a caveat here with his deal, and having a trade for him, you're going to have to eat a lot of money, and I don't think the Red Sox are in the position to want to eat more money here. So the four teams that Jeff Passan mentions here are the Cubs, Tigers, Mets, and Yankees that could possibly trade for Bregman. Now, let me be the first one to rule out the New York Yankees, because the Red Sox and Yankees, I don't think they're going to be making trades with each other anytime soon. And for a player like Alex Bregman, who has the potential to maybe terrorize the Boston Red Sox for the next 3 years if he gets traded to the Yankees, I just don't think that's a realistic possibility. But let's take a look at the other three teams. The Cubs and the Tigers, I could see that happening. The Cubs already have arguably the best offense in Major League Baseball, and adding Alex Bregman, a stud third baseman, to that lineup, I mean, not only do they further reinforce their offense, but I think the Cubs become World Series contenders if they aren't already, with Pete Crow Armstrong and Kyle Tucker leading the charge. Now, as far as the Tigers go, they're one of the best teams in the American League. They are carried by Tarek Skubal and that amazing rotation and bullpen that they have. But their offense leaves a little bit to be desired. I mean, Javi Baez has been having a resurgent year playing center field. Spencer Torkelson, been decent. You know, they're getting some production from Kerry Carpenter. Their offense is kind of middle of the pack. And it might be better than that if you take a look at some advanced numbers. But how can they say no to Alex Bregman, a guy that they were heavily linked to this offseason? I think personally for me, that is my favorite fit for Alex Bregman if he were to be traded this trade deadline. And the Mets here, similar story. You know, they are getting carried by a very good bullpen and rotation. Their offense has really started to turn the corner as of late as well. Juan Soto starting to play like he's worth $800 million, and that is a scary sight for some other teams around Major League Baseball. The Mets, similar to the Tigers, are one of the best teams in the league, and you add offense to that, and Pete Alonso raking as well, they're going to be one of the more formidable World Series contenders once we approach October. So that is probably my second favorite fit for Alex Bregman if he were to get traded. So I'll rank them: Tigers, Mets, Cubs, and then the Yankees. I mean, the Yankees could use him, there's no doubt. But I just don't think that the Red Sox have any interest in doing business with New York right now. Jeff Passan gives him a 10% chance to get traded away this deadline, and I think that's fair. There's a really big price tag, and a lot of moving parts are going to have to put in place here for Alex Bregman to actually move. The second name, though, Jarren Duran, has a 25% chance of getting dealt. I'm not going to break down all the teams here like I did for Bregman, because we still got to get to the Blue Jays and Guardians fiasco from yesterday afternoon. But Jarren Duran, really solid player, having a bit of a down year, but the contract, the years of control, it makes him a very attractive piece at the deadline. San Diego has been the one team that has been getting mentioned the most, and I could definitely see that happening. So I could see him going to San Diego and really helping out the Padres get back on track here and challenge for the National League West Division. Now, Jarren Duran, any team could use him. That speed, his defense in left field, really solid player, hits a lot of triples, a lot of doubles. Home run power, not really there that much this season, but I think it'll come around, and he's too good to not have a great year this season. Now, finally, let's move on to the Toronto Blue Jays and Cleveland Guardians from yesterday afternoon. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in back-to-back games was plunked by Guardians pitching. He had to leave the game. X-rays were negative, luckily for Blue Jay fans and for the Blue Jays as well. He's not going to miss any time. He might be out of the lineup today, but I don't suspect him to miss any significant amount of time. As for the Guardians side of things, Jose Ramirez was plunked sort of definitely in retaliation by Kevin Gausman. He also had to leave the game. X-rays were negative there. So luckily for the Guardians and the Blue Jays, both of their star players are not going to miss any extended time here. But Stephen Vogt, the manager of the Guardians, came out and wasn't talking to the umpire. He was talking to John Schneider, the Blue Jays manager, and giving it to him, saying, "How could you hit my star player after all of this? You know, we weren't intending to hit Vladdy, but when you get hit in back-to-back days and you're the star player of a team, there's got to be something deeper than just missing your pitch." Right? So the Blue Jays felt slighted. They felt like they had to step up and do something for their superstar, and they did that. They plunked Jose Ramirez, a 96-mile-an-hour fastball, to the forearm by Kevin Gausman. It hurt. That definitely hurts. I mean, I've never been plunked by 96. I don't want to get plunked by 96, but I could tell you that it'll definitely hurt. So Jose Ramirez got plunked in retaliation. Things got out of hand. Luckily, that was the last game of the series, and we don't have to read too much more into that. But, Cleveland Guardians, Toronto Blue Jays. Things got spicy yesterday afternoon. That'll wrap it up for this episode of 3 Up, 3 Down. Thank you all so much for making it this far, and I'll see you all next week.